Okay, welcome everybody. We're just about to get started. We're just letting the last few people in from the waiting room. And you're going to be joining us for a great session today. Really excited to be able to present to you today this information that I know you're all looking for. Okay. So we have most people in that we're expecting now. Still more people coming in. Okay, well, welcome everybody. My name is Suzanne Andrews. I'm the CEO here at the Quinte West Chamber of Commerce. We're really excited that you could join us for our fourth quarter member meeting. It's a chance for us to connect with you, chat about some of the issues that you're dealing with, let you know about our upcoming board nominations. And as a special extra for this meeting, we've partnered with the Center for Workforce Development to bring you a great speaker that's going to help you with one of the biggest challenges we know that you're facing right now, and that is workforce and finding those workers that you need. I am now going to ask Brad Labadie, the Executive Director for the Center for Workforce Development, to come on up and introduce our guest speaker today.
Thanks, Suzanne. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for this opportunity to have a good conversation with chamber members. My name is Brad Labadie. I'm the Executive Director at the Center for Workforce Development. And one of the reasons why we are here today is because people like yourselves who participate in the Employer One survey, which is a demand side survey, and our local labor market planning process, you've shown that there's been some indicators out there around ways that we can help you adjust and deal with how you hire workers today. The number one way that employers are advertising across the Hastings, Prince Edward Island Academy continues to be word of mouth. But we know today that the majority of your job seekers are online and they're using a number of different ways to look at how for their jobs. So today I'm happy to introduce Zach from Real Marketing.
Got muted.
Yeah.
There. Okay, we're good. All right. Thanks everyone for coming out. And I'm just going to pull up the slides here. There we are. Okay, and as mentioned, we're going to be talking about social media marketing today, specifically how to use it to promote your business and especially for recruiting. So the first thing we're going to go over today is why you actually want to use social media. A big part of that is going to be brand awareness and brand loyalty. So simply put, just being out there, being on social media, posting, getting your business out there is going to increase awareness in your brand. And that has also shown as a knock-on effect to increase brand loyalty. You can see you'll be getting a copy of these slides, and then there's a link that you can kind of see a few stats on brand loyalty and how brand awareness helps that. So there's two specific, the first being top of mind awareness. So again, oh, it's not shared. There we go. Got it. So the first part of social media and how it helps brand loyalty is the top of mind awareness. So they're seeing the brand every day, they don't forget about you. The other one is engaging with the brand. So with social media, more than most things, there's an opportunity for a back and forth. It's not just an ad going out to someone. There's an opportunity for them to comment, to like, to share it with their friends and family. So they're actively engaged with the brand rather than just knowing about it. Social media can also help you generate leads, online sales, and applicants for recruiting ads. So posting on social media is really good for brand awareness, brand loyalty, customer retention. But you also have the opportunity to advertise your business on social media, which again can help generate leads, can generate some online sales if you have an online store, or some potential applicants for your recruiting post or job ad. And people are also just there every day. So, not being on social media is sort of a wasted opportunity. 74% of the world's internet users are active on at least one social media platform. So you essentially have a giant audience of the vast majority of the world sitting, waiting to get some content from you. And it's just, only makes sense to utilize that. So using Facebook as an example, there's over 2 billion active users on Facebook right now. A big sort of misconception, I guess, about social media is that it is just for young people. If you're looking for someone who's 18, 25, 30, 35, even, you're going to be on social media, but someone who's 40, 50, 60 is not. That was the case 15 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe. It's not the case anymore. This is a study done in 2016 showing that 72% of people in the age group of 50 to 64 were active on Facebook. And over 60% of people over the age of 65 were active on Facebook. So it's not just for teens, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, it's now for everyone. The last thing for why social media we're going to talk about is why you want to focus on customer retention. So a lot of small businesses place most, if not all, of their focus on getting new customers, growing their customer base, new sales. And that's, there's a very good reason for that. Obviously it's easy to track, and new business is always desirable. But customer retention shouldn't be ignored. Retaining a customer is on average about 5 times cheaper than getting a new customer. So it's just for, smaller businesses with smaller marketing budgets, it can be used a lot more efficiently if you put some of that aside for retaining existing customers rather than simply going only for new customers. And a couple of just small stats here as to how, 5 times cheaper, okay, what does that really translate to? If you increase your customer retention rate by 2%, you can lower your marketing cost by 10%. So lower cost by 10%, you can put that 10% towards something else like new business or retaining even more customers. Lowering your churn rate, so that is the percentage of your customers that leave over the course of a year, let's say, by 5%, can increase your profitability by 25% or more in some cases, depending on which study you're reading. There's some more customer retention stats that you will get there as well if you are interested. So what channels should you be on? There are numerous social media networks, and seemingly more, every time you turn your head, there seems to be a new one that's gaining popularity. As a small business owner, you're likely doing some of it yourself, if not all of it yourself, or you have an employee, with limited time, just like yourself, that is tasked with it. You're not going to have a marketing team that's going to be able to have a dedicated social media person. So for that reason, you're going to need to sort of pick and choose your battles. Being on social media poorly is almost as bad as not being on it at all. So you want to make sure that you're not trying to be on everything and only doing a little bit. You want to focus your efforts in on what you can get the most value from, given the time and the resources that you have. So the 2 limiting factors, as I mentioned here, target market and your own ability. So when talking about your target market, if a good percentage of your target market isn't using a particular social media channel, so, you are targeting 30 to 40-year-olds, TikTok is not for you. Most people on TikTok are still younger. So that's not going to be something that's going to bring you as much for the same effort as using that effort on Facebook or Instagram, for example. So how can you tell which social media channel is right for you? You can look at their demographics, and I've linked to a really great article that is updated fairly frequently with all the major social media networks and what their demographics are in terms of age, gender, location, so rural versus urban or whatever the case. So really great guide that you can use. Most of them are going to be fairly similar, but again, if you're choosing between 2, you're not quite sure, you can look at that and use it to help out a little bit, at least, in terms of which one you should choose. The other thing you're gonna wanna think about is what's your ability. So how much free time do you have is a big one. You know, if you have 8 hours a week to dedicate to social media, you can probably be active on 3 or 4 channels. If you have maybe an hour, you can stretch it to 2 maybe. You're probably gonna wanna pick one and really try to focus in on that one. We generally recommend setting aside an hour and a half to 2 hours a week for every channel you're gonna be on. So Facebook and Instagram, you want 3 to 4 hours, just Facebook. You can get away with maybe an hour and a half, probably 2. The other part of that is what kind of content do you have? So do you have content currently in terms of, you know, videos, photos, reviews, anything like that that you can utilize, blog posts? And do you have a steady stream of that coming up? So, you know, a lot of businesses that have been in business for a long time have a backlog of photos, but they don't necessarily have a bunch of new ones coming in. So you would need to, I guess, either have a plan for getting new content or choose the right social media networks for the content that you do have. So if you don't have a lot of video, there's certain platforms like TikTok that are all video. You know, you need a steady stream of new videos coming in, and if you're just not going to have that, then it's not worth being on, and you're going to want to stick to something more photo based, like, you know, Instagram or Facebook. They support video, but it's mostly photo. And then also, what are you comfortable with? Like, if you're not comfortable with a certain network, you don't know how it works, but you're pretty comfortable with another one, it might be easier and better to just go with that other one. Now, if it's, I make the example again of TikTok, if your target market is, 18 to 25, that's going to be a big one for you, and it's maybe something you have to learn versus something that is, something that could be thrown away potentially. So just to narrow that down, the questions to ask yourself: who do you want to reach? How much free time do you have? Can you produce video or photo? And can you keep producing them? And then 1 second.
The screen is frozen.
Oh, I got you. Now, the next biggest thing, once you've kind of decided on where you're going to be posting, you want to decide what to post. And this is usually the biggest barrier for most businesses. If you're starting a social media strategy, the hardest thing is coming up with content ideas. Our best tip is value first. So all of your content should be with some sort of value to your follower, the end user that's going to see it. Value can take a lot of forms, though. It can be teaching them something different about the business, or about the products or services, the industry that you're in, to simply just making them laugh and just giving them, some excitement or anything like that. So there's a lot of different potential ways to deliver value. So in order to narrow it down a little bit for you, we've got a couple of different kind of sub tips for that, let's say. So the 80-20 rule is a pretty general social media marketing sort of rule. And it is that 80% of your content should be value oriented, 20% should be selling in some cases. So this could be selling products and services. It can also be job postings. So it's something that you want versus something that they're going to want. Now, obviously, some people are going to want jobs that are on there, but a lot of people that are going to be following you aren't necessarily. Same as a lot of them are going to be maybe not in the market today for the product or service that you offer. So you're not going to want to hammer them too much with that kind of stuff. You're going to want to more deliver value in terms of, again, some maybe behind the scenes content, some tips and tricks for how to use your products or services better, anything like that, basically. Our next tip is to develop a brand personality and stick to it. So every business has a certain personality, or should, every business or every brand. One might be dependable and honest, the other could be edgy and creative. When you're presenting yourself in ads, in social media, in your job listings, that personality should come across. And just think about your business as a person. How would you describe it? How would you give it a personality? That's your brand personality, and stick to it. You don't want to be super jokey and edgy in certain posts, and then super serious and kind of straight-laced in the other. You just you're attracting two different crowds that are then going to see the other styles of posts, and it's not going to quite jive with why they, originally followed the page or bought into the brand or anything like that. So you don't want to be everything to everyone. You want to be everything to a specific group of people. So that being your target market. So be yourself, and your target market's going to respond to that. Giving the followers a glimpse behind the scenes of your business. This is great for building brand loyalty. It's also great in the recruiting sense, in that people that are following your page or looking at your job posting are going to be able to go back and see all these posts about, what are the people that work there, the people that own the business, what are they like? What are the kind of stuff that you're going to be doing on a day-to-day basis? And people themselves, just like to see that kind of stuff too. A big differentiator between a lot of local businesses and bigger companies, national brands, is going to be that sort of a local touch. So, you want to be seen as, a group of people and not a faceless corporation. People like doing business with those types of businesses, and they also like working for those types of businesses. So it's kind of a dual purpose there. Highlighting new products and services. So this is kind of a value versus hard selling kind of a thing. The hard selling post is something along the lines of, we got a new product out, it's $50, this is what it does, come in and grab it, buy it online, buy it in store. That would be the 20% of the 80-20. The 80% version of that, where you're building value, is, hey, this is really great, we've got this new product coming out, we're offering this new service, we've got this great new job posting coming up, and this is why we're excited about it. It does this, or we're going to offer this, or you're going to get these great benefits working with us. It's less about the hard facts and more about the excitement and the passion for your business that you're getting across. And then also showing involvement in the community. This is similar to sort of the behind the scenes aspect of it, is showing off your local, your human side of the business, basically. Photos of yourself, your employees at local events, sponsorship of local events, just general content supporting other events that are happening. Even if it's not something you sponsored, but there's a great, Santa Claus parade or something like that. Maybe you're not a sponsor of it, but it's a great event you want people to get out to. You're going to be out there. Maybe you take a photo of some floats, that type of thing. Just again, you're in the community. You're not Amazon. You're not Walmart. You're a business that's local and invested in the community more than those other ones maybe. Sharing with customer reviews and testimonials is also a great way of leveraging social proof. Social proof is a very powerful, marketing tool. If other people have had a good experience, chances are you're going to have a good experience too, and you're going to be more willing to do business with that business. Or from a recruiting side of it, if you see two businesses that you're up for, you're applying for, one has a 4.5 rating on Google and a ton of good reviews, the other has a 1.5 rating on Google and not very many reviews, you're going to be probably a little more enticed by the 4.5 out of 5-star company, because you're going to be dealing with less complaints potentially. People, customers, happy employees as well. So it all kind of folds into that. And also, don't be afraid to share third-party content. You don't feel like you have to create absolutely everything in-house. If there's some YouTube videos from manufacturers you deal with, or some good third-party blog content that goes over some stuff that you really believe in and talk about in your kind of sales presentations, or some things, again, you offer from a benefits perspective to your employees, that's maybe a little bit different, and there's some good studies out there that show why that's a positive thing. Feel free to include that as well. It's often a positive, and it takes a little bit of the burden off you in terms of having to create photos and videos and all that kind of stuff. How often should you post is another big kind of stumbling block with a lot of businesses when they're getting started or getting more serious about getting into social media. It's hard to say an exact number because it's a little bit different depending on your business and your audience, and the social media networks that you're going to be active on. So as I mentioned in the slide here, 10 to 15 times a day it can work on Twitter, it can work on Pinterest, but it's way too often for Facebook. People just check out because their feed's just going to be full of you and no one else, and they want to get updates from their family and their friends, and all they're seeing is your business 10 times in a row. They're just going to unfollow. So you kind of hit a sweet spot with a lot of them in the sort of 3 to 5 times per week. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, a lot of those kind of bigger networks tend to go good in that sort of an area. I do have another link though for some general guidelines. A lot of them say, once per day, 5 times per week, something like that. I generally wouldn't do more than that, but again, it depends a little bit on the network as well. So there's some different sort of customized guidelines for each there. Now, how do you get the most out of social media? Here we'll go over a few things that just are kind of things to hopefully make your life a little bit easier and get the most for the time spent, because a lot of this is, again, like a time investment rather than a dollar investment. The first thing is to set aside time for social media. So what a lot of people make the mistake of is, okay, I'll get that posted later today. And then the day gets away from them and they can't, or they don't, or they forget, whatever. And they can't respond to certain comments, and you just kind of, you're always chasing and trying to come up with content ideas last second because you're just trying to squeeze it out before you get done for the day. We recommend instead to just set aside one chunk of time once per week, 3-4 hours. If you're going to be doing 2, let's say you're doing Facebook and Instagram, set aside a morning, get it all done for the following week. You can have all your content better prepared, better planned, and you can schedule all ahead of time. There's social media scheduling tools built into certain ones like Facebook, and if not, there's a lot of free Hootsuite, Linktree. There's a lot of sort of different options out there for scheduling tools for social media. It also helps to develop a social media calendar. So part of that time can be pre-planning for weeks in advance. Even if it's just, I want to make sure I'm doing a video once a week, you can have, okay, I'm going to do a video that's about this. I'm going to do a video that's about this, and just have sort of it planned out from a very macro perspective. Not getting into the fine details necessarily, but just having a calendar to keep you on task and to know what's coming up ahead of time. So you can stick to that 80-20 rule, make sure you're not doing too many product posts, make sure you're not doing, too many value posts as well, that you do get some of that either recruiting in there or ads for new products, new services, that type of thing. It also helps to research some hashtags. If you're just going to be doing Facebook, this isn't as needed because the hashtag never really took off. A lot of people share posts by tagging their friends, by sharing actually the post itself. But other networks like Instagram, like Twitter, use hashtags. A lot of their users use hashtags to find new posts, new pages. So find you can do some easy research, just popular, Instagram hashtags for your industry, and you'll come up with a good list. Also make sure to include some local ones, hashtag valuable, hashtag QWCC, hashtag QWCC. Can also be very popular for people from the area looking for local content, but also potentially some tourists looking for, or potential job applicants looking to move to the area. And then you're also going to want to boost your post to a wider audience. So to be successful with social media, you can no longer just do free postings. You're going to have to do some promotion. This doesn't have to be a major investment of hundreds or thousands of dollars a month. It can be $50, it can be $75, it can be $100 a month to boost your post out $5, $10 at a time to a wider audience that is targeted to be, at least close to your target audience. Some more reasons to advertise on social media. One of the big reasons they work really well is that they blend into the user experience. For the opposite of this, I always give the example of YouTube ads. YouTube ads are hated by almost everyone, I would say. I can't think of anyone that says they like them. And the reason is that it breaks the user experience. You click on a video to watch the video, and before you do that, you have to watch another video that you have no interest in watching. You can sometimes skip. They're even doing 2 or 3 at a time now instead of just one. They're disrupting the user experience that you want, which is click a video, watch a video. With social media, it doesn't do that. It blends in as you're scrolling. The ads are there, but it's not forcing you to watch it. All you're doing, you can scroll right past it. So that there's no break in your experience. If you want to watch the video or the ad, you can. If you don't, you can scroll right past it. There's no, again, sort of that disruption in what you want to do. They're also a lot cheaper than a lot of alternatives. Using Google Ads, which is probably one of the bigger, well, is the biggest competitor with them in terms of overall ad spend. It's about, let's call it 33% cheaper than running a comparable Google ad in terms of cost per click. So getting people to your website, it's going to be cheaper. Their targeting ability is also pretty good, especially on Facebook and Instagram. You can target demographics, geographics, interests on things, well, on Facebook and also on LinkedIn. You can also target job titles. So you can really get into sort of the fine details of who you want to reach and when you want to reach them and where you want to reach them. It also offers a bunch of different ad formats and objectives. So if you don't have any video, you're not stuck. You can use photos. You can use multiple photos. You can design a photo. You can just, snap a photo of the inside of your business. You can do multiple. You can just do single. You can do a mix of video and photos. It's completely customizable to what you have on hand, basically. Now, some tips for getting good results from your social media ads, because there is some money to be wasted in social media, just like anything else. If it's not targeted properly, you can end up spending a lot without getting a lot. So to avoid that, you're going to pay close attention to your targeting. A lot of people think, okay, social media is wonderful because I can reach everyone in the world. And that's maybe true for, again, your Amazons, your Walmarts, your, whatever, Costco's of the world. But for a local business that sells one particular item or one particular service or is in one particular industry, the real power of social media is in its targeting ability. So being able to get down to your target market, out of everyone in, the general Quinte area, you can choose the 20% of those people that have an interest in what you do, rather than everyone. You can also, or you're also going to want to track your results. There are basic analytics tools in all social media ad platforms that tell you things like what your cost per click is, how many people saw the ad, how many people clicked through to your website. You can break it down by gender, by age range to see where your ads are working and where they're not working, and then make some adjustments from there. You can also use Google Analytics to take that one step further and see how many people that went through to your website actually sticked onto your website, maybe converted, maybe filled out a job application, maybe bought something online, or maybe just went on the website, read your job ad, and then left. So you can see then also from which ad they came from and which ads are maybe leading to more sales, more job applications, and you can really dial in what people are looking for. What I'm talking about here is getting into A/B testing. So rather than just doing one ad, doing 2 versions of the same ad that are almost identical with one difference. Biggest one oftentimes being the image. So you basically pit the 2 ads against each other, let them run for a week, and then say, okay, which one's performing better? Which one has a better cost per click? Which one's leading to more sales? Which one's leading to more job applications? You cut out the one that isn't working, and then you make another duplicate of the one that is. Or if it's a shorter campaign that's maybe only running a week or 2, you just get rid of the lesser performing ad and only run the better performing ad. And here's a real world example from a few years ago. Exact same ad, same content, same landing page, same everything other than the image. And one is basically running at half the cost of the other one, purely based on the image. Image is the big thing with these. Because it's the thing that stops people. Again, going back to YouTube, you're forced to watch the ad. You don't really have a choice. With Facebook, you do have a choice, or Instagram, or any of them, Twitter. They all give you the choice of viewing the ad or not viewing the ad. So you have to give them a reason to stop and read. If the image is dull and it's not interesting, they'll scroll right past it. If it's something that's a little bit more striking, maybe big bold colors, maybe someone sitting there smiling at them, they'll stop and they'll say, what's this about? They'll read it. Oh, okay, it's for a job application. Well, I'm looking. I'll, look and see, kind of what it's all about. And then that's what stops them, where even if it could be their ideal job, it could be the ideal product that they want, it's fitting a need and it's a great price. But if they don't stop and read the ad, they're never going to actually know about it. So that's the biggest thing, is the visuals. You're also going to want to rotate your ads if it is a longer time span. Again, if it's something for like a recruiting, it might only be up for a couple of weeks. It's not as important. If it's something that you're going to want to be advertising, though, you have a ton of jobs open, it's going to be for a couple of months, you're going to want to rotate, because people will get what they call ad fatigue, which is basically seeing an ad too many times. It then just becomes background noise. They're just going to ignore it. If they've looked at your ad 5 times and they haven't read it yet, they're probably not going to read it on the 6th or the 7th time. So swap it out. Again, you don't have to build it from scratch. Think of it as another A/B test. Swap out an image, maybe change the heading, something like that. See if you get better results. Oftentimes, people don't necessarily, again, log the things that they've seen on social media as well. So a new image can make it seem like a brand new ad, and now you get people reading it again. Now you start to get more applicants. Now you start to get more online sales. So we recommend every week to 2 weeks. When you notice those, again, looking at the analytics, you start noticing the cost per click increase. You start noticing less clicks on the website. You start noticing less sales and less applications on your website. That's a sure sign that it's time to rotate your ads. And just finishing it off with some last minute recruiting tips. As I've kind of stressed over the last couple of minutes, compelling image is the biggest thing. It stops people from scrolling in their feed and makes them read the rest of the post. At least skim the rest of the post. It gives you a shot of them reading the post, checking out the ad, going onto the website and learning more if you do have the job posted on your website. If you don't have it posted on your website, you're going to want to be very detailed in your post description. Also, so details not only in the, it's going to pay this much, it's going to be for this many hours, you're going to be doing this. You also want to get in a little more into the business itself. What size is the business? What sort of the culture? What are the sort of people they're going to be working with? You see every job ad out there that is, we want someone for 40 hours a week. You're going to earn $18 an hour, and it's a fast-paced environment. And check, apply here kind of thing. You want to be a little bit different. You want to sell them a little bit more. You want to be sort of compelling, not only in the image, but also in the text. And again, giving them a sense of what the business is like, what their job's going to be like on a day-to-day basis. Your posts will also do that. People will check your website. They'll check your social media posts for that type of thing. But that initial ad or that initial post is going to compel them to do that other work, where they might not do it if it just seems like, oh, it's just going to be a boring, job. And advertise your job posts. I would 100% of the time advertise any sort of job posting that you're doing. Otherwise, you're just kind of relying on the, few hundred, few thousand people that follow you to kind of promote it for you almost. People you'll see oftentimes, people will tag their friends and family when they see a job posting up, which will get it on their feed, expand it out to a few more people. But if you really want to get it out to the masses, $10, $15 can get you from 500 people or 1,000 people seeing it to 3, 4, 5,000 people seeing it. So it's going to take you, I don't know how long, half an hour to get the job posting together, to get it posted. If you can triple or quadruple the results of that, hours of labor for $10, I do that 10 times out of 10. Now there is something to note though with job posting ads specifically on Facebook and Instagram. You need to make sure that it's marked as an employment ad. You'll see they have a special category section. Employment is in there. You tick it off. Otherwise, the ad will get instantly rejected. If they see job, if they see wage, career, those types of keywords, it'll automatically get flagged and it won't be run. But just tick off that thing. Basically, what it lets you, or what it restricts you from doing, is restricting the age range of your job ad. So you can't say I only want to hire people that are 18 to 25. Yeah, they just don't allow that. So that's the only difference between that and any other ad, is that you just can't restrict the age range. Other than that, it's identical. All the other previous sort of tips and tricks apply. You can do the A/B testing. You want to check the analytics, compelling image, and again, a really sort of as descriptive as you can get. You don't want to write a novel. You don't want to be reading for 10 minutes, 2-3 paragraphs. Sell the business like you would sell products or services that you offer. Finishing up, two useful social media tools if you are in need. Hootsuite is a great one for scheduling posts ahead of time. Linktree allows you to add multiple links to your Instagram bio. For those of you not active on Instagram, you can't actually put an active link on Instagram on a post. You only have one in your description, so you're kind of hamstrung by only having that one link. With Linktree or a similar service, you can have 8, 9, 10, for your job ad, someone to go to your website, contact us, get a quote. You can have all these different ones rather than just, linking to your homepage, let's say, and forcing them to try to piece through the website to get to where they want to go to. Canva is a great way for designing images if you don't have a lot of design skill or you don't have any design tools. There's tons of sort of pre-made templates that can help you design a job posting, design a new product launch type of post, and they're pre-made, pre-sized for different social media networks. So you can have the perfect size Instagram one, and then reformat it for the perfect size Facebook one, or the perfect size Twitter one, or LinkedIn, or whatever. And then Pexels, StockSnap, and Unsplash are good free stock photo sites. You will want to check the permissions on those. Sometimes you won't have the permission to share them as a business. They're only for personal use. 9 times out of 10, though, they're pretty free and open for anyone to use. Yeah, that's it for today. A little bit about myself. My name is Zach. I'm from Lure Marketing. We do a wide range of digital marketing services. We offer social media, advertising help, SEO, website development, anything you can think of for digital marketing. We also have some guides and some training packages for social media specifically. If you are interested, there is a link there, as well as to our website. And that does it for this part. Thanks everyone for coming out. I think we are going to open the floor up for questions, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, thanks, Zach. That was great. Really appreciate all the information that you shared with everybody. I learned quite a few things. I don't know if people that have joined us today themselves have noticed that every time you go to Facebook, it seems to have changed a little bit. They've been changing a lot of things around. And so it is just great to get some of those pointers that you've shared with us today. We are going to open it up to the floor. So I would invite anybody who has a question for Zach you can turn on your cameras. You can open up your microphones, ask Zach a question, or you can use the raised hand feature, and we can get you that way. So please feel free to go ahead and put your hand up if you have any questions, or turn on your camera. I'm not seeing anybody. We've got lots of people on the call. Oops. I'm making sure everyone can unmute themselves. They can. Oh, Bev has a hand up. Okay, great. Bev, go ahead. What's your question for Zach?
Hi, Zach. Can you have you give your opinion of Lumni?
Lumni, I'm not too familiar with that actually.
So I was using Hootsuite before, but I'm a nonprofit, so we always have to manage our monies. And I was introduced to Lumni, and Lumni is the same type of thing where you can, post, all your social media on multiple platforms, multiple times, scheduling and so forth. I just didn't know whether you having contact, if you would knew if one, because I haven't used Hootsuite for a number of years, if they have made any changes and helped with the pricing aspect of it, or if you knew anything about Lumni itself.
I don't know anything about Lumni really, and there's a lot of them out there. They all provide the same basic functionality. Some of them, so for years, Hootsuite was the preferred one because they were the only ones where you could schedule Instagram posts. Hootsuite in particular, that is something to note. They do have a free version. It is rather limited now, though. I think you can only schedule maybe 5 posts per month through Hootsuite. If you are active on only Facebook and Instagram, or Facebook or Instagram, Facebook itself actually has a business. If you go to business.facebook.com, you can pre-schedule posts and have them go to Facebook, Instagram, or both. So if you're looking for a free scheduling tool that's sort of unlimited functionality, at least for those two, Facebook and Instagram, you can do that directly within Facebook. For outside ones, if you want to schedule to TikTok, you want to schedule to Twitter, LinkedIn, you'll need a third-party service like those. Again, the functionality of them are all fairly similar. I'm trying to think, there was another one I used for a little while too that was pretty good. The name's not coming to me, but I would essentially just, they all offer free trials. I would do a free trial of each, see what works better for you. Basically, the main difference between them is just the user interface. So some people find some easier to use than others. And the pricing, some just might offer a bunch of features that you don't need. And the pricing kind of goes along with that. So there's a lot that you can get for, $10 a month. I think the lowest cost version of Hootsuite is maybe $40 or $50 a month now. So it's not cheap by any means. But again, there's a lot of free or at least significantly lower cost options out there that oftentimes have the same functionality that you would get from Hootsuite. Hootsuite has a few other things, especially getting into analytics and stuff. But a lot of that you can get from sort of free versions as well. So yeah, again, don't know too much about that one specifically, but do a free trial, see if you like it, see if the pricing makes sense. If you are doing things other than Facebook and Instagram, if you are just doing Facebook and Instagram, I just use that built-in scheduler. Because then you can also do your boosts and stuff straight from there as well if you are doing some promotions and things.
Great. I just want to ask one other question. Our team now consists of 2 people. I'm wondering, do you do like in-office consulting to help us to get started? I find Google Ads are really hard to maneuver if you're not used to doing them on a regular basis. So I'm just wondering if that's something your company does provide on service, like tutorials or helping us to get started.
Absolutely, yeah. So we have kind of 2 ways we solve that problem. One is a sort of one-time package where we set you up, we set up your audiences for ads, and we get sort of everything. We do some training with you or whoever's going to be responsible for the actual social media posting. Get them trained up, comfortable with certain tools, like Canva or Linktree or anything like that, anything that will be useful for the tools you're using. And we do a couple of training sessions, and we provide you with a personalized guide with some kind of the same information as this, but more personalized to your business. So personalized, content ideas that would work, we think, at least for your industry or for your business. The other way that we do it is more of an ongoing support type of thing, where we generate a report for you every month. Along with that report, we'll do a call where we go over our suggestions for how you can improve your ads, your posts, answer any questions you may have. So it's just kind of having someone in the background we're also offering email support. So if you have a question sort of mid-month, you're not having to wait 2 weeks for that call to show up.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Great presentation. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I see that Brianna has her hand up. Go ahead, Brianna.
Thanks. Okay. Online, everyone's a critic behind a screen.
Yeah.
If we get negative feedback, how do I word this? Sometimes it's warranted, but if there's just stupid negative feedback that really has no basis except so-and-so sells it for less or something like that,
Right.
Do you feel it's best to like hide that comment, delete it, or engage with it?
Whenever possible, I would engage with it. You can, if it's just something like, sometimes people just have something to say and they just want to write it down, like you say, and it doesn't really even have anything to do with the post itself. I'll just delete those. If it, again, if it's completely unrelated, completely not even worth responding to. If it's something that might be a legitimate, like again, saying price, oh, I wouldn't buy it from them because it's cheaper over here. that's something I would 100% respond to. And I find it an opportunity, because if one person's thinking something like that, then you might have other people that are thinking that too. So it's a good thing to sell why you are, more expensive. And, there's always a good reason for it, I would say, at least. Even if it's just something like, well, of course, Amazon's gonna have it cheaper than us. They're, multinational company, our prices are a little higher, but we think, our added service, our local touch, we support the community, and I think that's worth an extra couple of dollars, and just leave it at that. Or it might be that yours is better, faster, whatever your solution is in some way better, higher quality, and worthy of the extra price. So I would almost always, and this is especially true of reviews, whether they're on social media or on Google, respond to every review, good and bad. And it can be, don't be combative necessarily, stick up for your business. Understand where they're coming from a little bit if you can, hey, I see that we let you down this time. That's not a representation of how, this business is 95% of the time. Mistakes happen. We're sorry that it happened to you. We encourage you to come back, and, we'll give you a little something for your trouble. Or, maybe you don't want to add that in, or you get a bunch of negative reviews for people looking for free things, but, you want to respond to it, I would say, good or bad.
I'm just going to let people know that I've put up a question on the screen. Our sponsor today, the Center for Workforce Development, loves to get feedback from participants on the activities that they get involved in. So while we got a couple more questions for Zach, I can see from the hands that are raised. So please just go in and answer this poll if you can. And there'll be a second question coming up in a minute. If you have any comments that you would like to leave for the Center for Workforce Development, if there's any topics that you would like to see them cover in the future, if you'd like a more in-depth conversation with someone like Zach around social media, and especially using it as a recruitment tool, maybe we could look at doing another one of those. So I'll go ahead and answer question number one. And I'm going to go to Michelle next, as she has a question for Zach as well.
Oh, I can't start my video. I was gonna give you a face there, Zach, but okay.
That's okay.
I had started my Instagram account about 3 years ago, and I had wanted to do my bread business, which I've recently launched. Which I
get you.
Pardon?
Bugging me all goddamn day.
Oh, I think we got a couple of people with their mics on at once.
Oh, okay. Anyways, so my question is, I recently had launched my website and everything, and I kept my Instagram account as it is, and kind of moved it over from the personal account, kind of the personal Instagram that it was, into my business. Now it's all the same. It never had pictures of me, or it didn't really, it was always bread focused, and it was always in the bread community. Right. But really what I want to do now is move more towards my community, and reach out to, because the followers, or the people that I engage with, are from everywhere, all over Canada. They're all over, the world, really. So I would like to have more connection with my local community. So my question is, should I kind of start a whole new page, and work that way through, because now all of my posts are connected to a Facebook page that was created from my digital manager, because I had a digital manager help me kind of get the website up, and because it's through Square, it's online shopping, so it became very integrated. So what do you think? Do you think it's something that needs to be redone and restarted from scratch, or just carry on and continue to kind of look for those connections locally?
In an ideal world, I would have all of it in one page. Like say you had 2,000 people following you on one page versus 2,000 split between two different pages, every post you do on that one with 2,000 versus the two with 1,000 each, let's say, is going to get double. You're going to have to do double the work to get the same result having two pages than just having it all on one.
No, I didn't mean have to. I meant like get rid of that one and kind of restart from scratch.
Oh, I like that even less, to be honest.
Okay.
You already have a community build on it more rather than starting from scratch. I would say the people that want to follow you on that journey will, if you're changing up your content and you're doing a more local focus, those people will follow you. Great. The people that don't will unfollow you on their own and they'll kind of whittle themselves out. So maybe again, let's say you had 1,000 people, 2,000 people, maybe you lose 3/4 of them, but you still have, a few hundred people that are following you versus zero, where you'd be starting from scratch.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you.
Yeah, no
Thank you
problem.
for the presentation as well.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks a lot for coming.
Okay, up next we have Burak. Do you want to go ahead and ask Zach your question?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, my camera didn't work. Sorry for that. Thank you for the great presentation. My question is a little specific. So my business is technical consulting and I target to customers in manufacturing and usually I need to target people who makes decisions on factories which have purchasing power.
Right.
So they are a very small subset of people in the world actually.
Yeah, for sure.
And social media is used by everyone. So I feel like if I use social media to reach those people, it's like using a bait in a giant lake and then wait for them to bite the bait, right? So
yes.
So how do I like effectively target those people?
For you and in what you're doing, I would strongly recommend LinkedIn as the primary focus. With LinkedIn, you can, with their ads specifically, so your posts either way are going to go to everyone, whether you're posting on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, they just kind of go to whoever's following you. But from an advertising specifically with LinkedIn, you can say, I only want to target people with these very specific job titles. Whatever it is, CEO, owner, manager, purchasing officer, whatever. You can put a list in of, I want to reach people that have this title or that are in this industry or that are, within Canada with this title in this industry. So, you can reach, now the LinkedIn ads are very expensive. A cost per click on a LinkedIn ad is going to be $10, $15, where on a Facebook ad it's going to be $1. But every one of those, people that you're reaching are the exact people you want to reach. They also have a version of their ads, which is basically a direct message. So if you're not already connected with them, you can, because with LinkedIn, a big restriction, I guess, is that you have to be a direct connection with someone to message them directly. So if they don't want to connect with you, you can send it all the requests in the world. Some of them will get back to you, some of them won't. The ones that don't, you can reach through that messaging ad. So you know at least that they read something from you. If not, get an ad in their feed.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Well, Zach, thank you so much for joining us today. You've shared a lot of information. It's been wonderful. Thank you to Brad and Bonnie for the Center for Workforce Development for sponsoring today's session and for bringing you to our local businesses here to share your expertise. We're now going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to now go talk to our members about board nominations and answer any questions they might have about that. So thank you, Zach and Brad and Bonnie, and we'll definitely have you back another time to join us. Thank you.
That's great. Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. So if anybody is interested in being on the board of directors, I wanted to just give you a little bit of information about that. It is, we are looking for some new board members this year. One of our board members, Zach, has been elected to Quinte West Council, so we're very excited for him. But that has left an opening on our board. And we also have 2 board members that are retiring off the board. So definitely looking for some fresh faces around our table. If you think that you'd like to perhaps be interested in doing that, then I'm going to just share my screen. Also in the chat, I'm just going to post a link, and that is going to put you, get you the nomination form. Trying to talk and type at the same time is not necessarily very easy. So there is the link. I'm just going to actually share my screen here with you all. Just 1 second here. One second, I'm sorry. Lots going on. Here we go. So for anybody that is interested in being on our board of directors, nominations are now open, and we're accepting nominations. You can self-nominate. You just have to get another chamber member to sign off on that nomination. We have 11 seats on the board, and each nomination is for a 1-year term. So we're not asking you to make a lifetime commitment. You can join us and for 1 year, and we renew those terms each year. Any member in good standing of the Quinte West Chamber of Commerce is eligible to appoint a representative to serve on the board of directors. So you don't have to be the owner of the company. You don't even have to be the senior staff person. You could have a junior staff person that you would like to perhaps get more board experience, that you would like for them to develop their knowledge of the community. We're certainly looking for board members of all ages and to welcome on our board. We have a few board members on the call with us today, so it's great to see them, and they can certainly help me answer any questions that you might have. Those elected to serve on the board act as the guiding compass for the organization, overseeing all aspects of the board's policies, finances, and strategic vision. The directors work in tandem with myself, the manager here, to make important decisions that affect the long-term strength and health of the Quinte West Chamber. And sometimes directors can recruit members to support a cause or to respond to a call for action or even help out at an event. And so what's required of a board of director member? And I should point out too, you don't have to have a board experience. We try to build our board to make sure that it's balanced between board members that have quite a bit of board experience, but also for some that this may be the very first board of directors that they have been on. And I always enjoy working with them to explain how the board works and how, you know, what their input, how important their input is. So if you don't have any board experience, this is a great place for you to learn how to be part of that. Board members need the ability to think big picture, long-term, and to make decisions that can be tough or unpopular. They need to represent fellow members at events and have time to provide visible support and leadership to board endeavors. They need to have an ear to the ground and bring issues that are affecting Quinte West business community to the board for discussion and help plan out any action if required. And that's really important, you know, having our board members out there listening to what's going on in the business community, other issues that are really affecting our members, especially our small and medium-sized businesses that have had so many challenges the last few years. We want to make sure that we're aware of the issues. It is a commitment to serve on the board of directors, but one we believe is valuable to each member who decides to serve. You can learn a lot from being part of the decision-making and by representing such an important and dynamic organization that makes a difference in the community they represent. There is no better way to learn about your business community than a seat at the director's table. And I know we're all time crunched, so I'm sure a big question is how much time would I need to give? And we do have monthly board meetings. that directors are expected to regularly attend, which are about 1.5 hours. We do meet at lunchtime and we provide lunch. So it's a working lunch. They can start at 11:30 and go till 1 o'clock. It is expected, in addition to the actual time spent at a meeting, a director will fully review all board materials provided prior to attending each meeting. Materials for all board and committee meetings are distributed by electronic format, generally 3 days prior to the scheduled meeting. Elected directors are expected to be able to receive, print, and communicate via electronic means. While the amount of time required for this task will vary for each individual, it is not unusual for a director to spend approximately 1 to 3 hours preparing for a board meeting or for some committee meetings. We don't usually meet in July, August, or December, so we have 9 of these meetings per year. And since COVID, we have been doing our meetings hybrid, so our directors have a choice if they would like to come down to the boardroom or to join us via Zoom. And directors usually sit on a couple of committees that guide and steer chamber activities. And depending on the committees, it could add an additional 5 to 10 hours per year. So not a huge amount of time, but I know every hour is precious. If you're interested, you can contact me. My email address is there, or you can call the office and say you'd like to put your name forward for nomination. I can help you fill in the form and find somebody to sign off on that if you'd like. And our deadline for this year is next Thursday, November the 10th. So if you are interested, you need to get your nomination in by then. And then once the nominations are closed, the nomination committee will work to put together a slate of officers and directors focusing on creating a diverse board as outlined in our board diversity policy. We're looking at skills, expertise, experience, and we also make sure that we have a variety of different types of businesses represented around our board table. So looking at size of business and the sectors that they represent. The slate goes to the board for discussion at the November board meeting, and then the slate is presented to the membership for election at the first member meeting of the year, usually in January, and then they get sworn in at our by the mayor and start right away. And that's basically it. Does anybody have any questions for me about being on the board? Does any of my board members that are on the call want to add anything to that, or past board members that would like to add anything to my comments?
Suzanne, I'll just say a few.
Sure, go ahead, Brent, that's great.
So I think I've been on the board for, I don't know, 4 years or something like that in different positions and different committees. But I think, it's Suzanne and the team there with Morgan and Jen and the rest of the team. They do an amazing job. And, we like to have fun at meetings, but we're also very serious when we need to be. So I think it's a great board, even for me. Like, that's where I started out with the board of directors, and I did a few other different boards and committees. And I think Rick said in the comments, it's a really great way to get where you're networking, personal or business. Like for me, I joined the board just after we moved here, and it's a total different experience. So, I think it's a great opportunity to join something and be part of your community. And you can be like Zach and just keep moving on and up.
Yeah, that's right. And Zach's taken his experience and has definitely, now become part of our council, and will not only be making decisions that affect businesses, but also everybody that lives here. People should be able to turn on their cameras if they want to. Before we go, does anybody have any other issues or any other questions for the chamber that they would like to bring forward? Is there something going on at your business that you would like to make sure that I know about or that the board knows about? I know workforce is an issue, and is there any other issues that we're not aware of, or anything else you'd like to talk about at this point?
Suzanne, it's Amber. I have a comment on November the 17th at the Quinte Business Development Center, Trenval, the Small Business Center, QEDC, BDC, RBC, all these acronyms. But all the partners at the Quinte Business Development Center will be available between 4 and 7 for any individuals, businesses who just want to come in and meet us and just ask any questions. It doesn't have to be financing related. You can just stop in, no pressure, no nothing, and you can meet the entire team. So we will be there between 4 and 7. And I believe that you have that in your newsletter. And no registration needed. You can just show up.
Yes, that's great. And there's always so much going on at the business center and so many great resources. And I know there's lots of different funding that's available and things going on at Trenval, at QEDC, at so many other places. So that is amazing. Does anybody else have anything else they'd like to share before we close off for today? No? Well, you know what? I want to thank everybody. It was a lot of information thrown today. So thank you so much to everybody for joining us today and for being part of it. And we'll definitely see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.